What's going on? It's another episode of a Star Wars shit show talking about visions. I'm here. I'm Sean. I'm joined by Dean. Dean, how's it going?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Had a few drinks. Wasn't
Oh.
100% sure if we were streaming tonight. So I had a few drinks. Then I confirmed that we were streaming tonight. I did that in the wrong order. Um, I'm not quite having double visions yet.
Okay.
So we're good.
Okay.
We're good. We're
Vision?
good. We're
Visions?
good.
Double vision?
Double
Vision?
visions. Yep,
Oh.
that was
Yeah,
intentional.
yeah.
I am
Okay, okay,
still
cool.
on point. Let's go. Some fun
All
stuff to
right.
talk about. These are some good episodes
Yes,
for the
this
most
week
part.
we're this week I'll tell you this. Again, I've enjoyed every episode so far.
Yes, I've not
Um
not enjoyed an
yeah.
episode.
Yeah. We're talking episodes 4 through 6 tonight. Uh, so, with that, let's get straight into the episode 4, which was The Village Bride. This was done by Kinema Citrus, is the name of the animation studio that did this episode.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
totally heard of those.
yeah, I haven't either. What'd you think of The Village Bride? Because I got the sense last time that you did not love this episode.
This and I've rewatched this one and episode 6. I haven't
Mm,
rewatched because I did watch episode 7 last week.
yeah,
But I think episode 4 probably in the is probably my least favorite episode.
that's kind of what I
It
thought.
it looks great. It really looks great. You know, the
Hmm.
Ghibli vibe is strong with this
Yeah,
one. I'm assuming that's what they're going for.
that's what it kind of
Um,
feels like.
I mean, you think that they even like? You think they ever even approach like Ghibli to like? Do they want to
I
do
doubt
one?
it. I don't think
Is
so.
that too? Is that too lofty
I think
of a
so.
pitch? Maybe season
Maybe
2.
maybe season 2. Maybe they go to Ghibli and say do a movie. Maybe they do a straight up Studio Ghibli Star Wars movie now.
Even if it's just like straight on Disney Plus, like that would just
Yeah.
be a really cool and I think fruitful collaboration.
Yeah, I
But
don't think you get Ghibli to do like one episode of a series like this. I think if you're gonna get
no,
Ghibli, you get them to do something big.
but maybe if you're pitching to Ghibli, you show them this episode and like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah,
yeah. It's it looks great.
yeah,
The story's fine. I found it a bit on the nose with the like, like the political, the social, all of that
yeah.
stuff is pretty hardcore in your face, and I think it kind of overshadows the story. To be
Really?
completely honest,
On Village Bride, I didn't even notice it. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. Maybe it
I
just
don't
all went over
know.
my head.
It was cool to see the battle droids,
Yeah.
but it was still very much like, okay, we're kind of just like poking at like various real world
Okay.
situations
I'll have to
with like,
rewatch it with that in mind because I didn't pick up on anything.
yeah, and I couldn't, I'm not going to sit here and draw the lines directly now because, I'm not well versed in the world to start
Hmm.
like throwing that shade. But,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's very, it's slow, it's contemplative, and I think it's definitely what the series needed after the first three. I think it's a perfect place for this episode.
Hmm.
Um, and the tone is a nice counterbalance to what's come before, and then and a bridge between the two episodes that come afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, it's not bad. I liked it, but I rewatched this one just before I
Yeah.
rewatched this. Like I said, 4 and 6 I rewatched, and I can't help but think, man, could I not have just squeezed the extra 4 minutes and just rewatched episode 5 again? And I kind of
Five's pretty.
regretted not
Five
doing
is
that,
pretty
to be
good.
honest. But go on,
So
hit me.
I don't disagree with most of what you said. I think the only difference is I liked episode 6 a little bit less. So I would still put Village Bride towards the very bottom of my ranking of the episodes so far, but it would be above episode 6 is the only difference on my end. This episode, yeah, I really agree. I think it starts because it starts and we've got this. What I thought was cool about episode 4 is we kind of we went really far into the culture of the people on this planet because the whole plot of episode 4 is you've got this who is clearly like an ex Jedi after the purge, right? Like very clearly post Order 66 Jedi who's just going around this planet exploring it with this guy who the subtitles call Explorer. Um, and they're going around the
Uh,
planet. They're kind of talking about the culture of the planet, and that's being mirrored with a story of this couple that are about to get married on the planet, and they're going through like their traditional ceremony before they get married, and then everybody ends up at the village. They're like, "Hey, villagers tell the ex Jedi, the former Jedi, that the next day this guy's gonna take the bride as collateral because they're like in charge of the planet or whatever. And they're like, we just got to make sure you guys do what you're told, so we're gonna take the kid. Well, they were gonna take the adult, but the kid volunteered, and it
yeah,
all it's another story of like Jedi wanders onto a planet where something bad is happening, and they have to stand up and be a Jedi again, even though they put away their lightsaber or whatever. It's a pretty standard story for Star
yeah.
Wars.
I mean, this episode reminds me a lot of in the Mandalorian,
I was thinking about that as
the
well.
Bryce Dallas Howard
Yeah,
episode in season 1.
but
You
this
kind
one
of get
wasn't
this.
as long.
No, that's nice.
I
Thanks,
think it
Susan.
was helpful that it was condensed.
Yeah, it's just very
And I
much
thought the
like
culture
Day in the
was more
Life.
interesting.
The culture
Yeah.
is really cool and really interesting. I say it's Day in the Life, and I like seeing just like what the regular people are kind of doing. Um, I was a little bit. Here's the thing, okay? They
Hmm.
they say, oh, they talk about the separatists, and the separatists are getting referenced here and there, more so as we're kind of going on into this new era of Star Wars. And
Hmm.
I feel like I just don't really know the separatists that well, and they
No
they
one
just
does because the prequels are bad.
they sound so fucking cool. Like, we're raised in this mentality, even though Star Wars is like, it's good, bad, but there's
Yeah.
also the grey area, and we're just raised in this idea of just like Empire, Rebels,
Yeah.
that's it. And to me, the idea of like, but hang on, there's this like extra like third party
Yeah.
that come into the situation. I really just want to know more about them and to kind of frame this episode in the context of like, oh well, they're separatists. That's it. And
Mhm.
we're not gonna go into that. We're just gonna go
Yeah.
into more of this, culture of this planet. And maybe maybe just let's just get one of these episodes to just tell me what the fucking separatists actually are and how they formed, how they fell, all of this stuff. And I get that that's not the point of this episode, but I don't know, it just frames this episode so heavily into that, and I'm still
Hmm.
vague on what that context is. I'm guessing if you've read a lot of these books, especially like
Well, that's
the
the separatists
Catalyst,
are
the Rogue One
the.
book and stuff, you probably know a whole lot more about it.
Ah!
Does that not even do it? Come
The
on.
separatists are so vague and so weird. What we know about this, like, Dooku helped found them, and they had legitimate grievances at first, and then we lost, we lost Dean, and now I'm huge. We lost Dean, and now I'm huge. You hate to see it. We're gonna wait for Dean to get back. Um, how can I vamp for time while Dean is just absolutely missing? I really wish that it didn't make me so big, and it let me have the overlay as well. Um, there we go.
See,
There we go.
you said you had legitimate grievances with the separatists, and I got thrown out.
Yeah, that's what happens. So so what I was saying is the separatists started with legitimate grievances, and Dooku formed them, or was part of the forming of them, and then Palpatine took over both sides of the war, and it all became just a bullshit. Nothing was actually happening. Um, so I would say that the show that is either gonna really nail it by talking about the separatists or completely miss because it doesn't talk about the separatists is gonna be the Andor show. Because Cassian says in
Yeah,
Rogue
of
One that
course.
he was a separatist as a kid. Like he was raised in the separatist in the separatist systems.
That's like the
So
first time I heard of them. Like, I mean, I'm assuming that they're referent, in Attack of the Clones,
Attack of the
but
Clones, I think Phantom
like
Menace. I don't think Phantom
so
Menace had it.
vaguely. And I saw Attack of the Clones on a on a pirated VHS. So I didn't, I wasn't, soaking in the
Yeah,
lore as much when
yeah,
I saw Attack of the Clones as like a 13-year-old, you
yeah.
know. So yeah, my context of this is just so vague, and
What you need to know,
it's
Dean.
hard. It's
What you
hard.
need to know, Dean, is that it was a legitimate group of people that were co-opted by a Sith Lord, and everything fell apart after that. That's the story of the. Oh, and we lost Dean again. This is the truth, guys. This is what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that the separatists were taken over by Emperor Palpatine. The Republic doesn't want you guys to know, but it's true. It's true. If you look historically, the separatists were my least favorite part about StreamYards is that now it's doing this where it's full screening me, and I really don't want to be full screen. There's Dean.
There we go.
Here's the thing. They really don't want us talking about the separatists, so we're gonna move on. Like I, the
I
Republic
had
does
this
not
whole
want
bit
you to
ready.
know.
I had this whole thing ready as well about how like you guys work on like a two-party system, and that the
We
idea
do,
of like this
we
third
do.
like middle ground thing coming in there is just so intriguing. I mean, we kind of don't have that system over here. I mean, we actually kind of have the separatists. They're called the Lib Dems, but anyway, that's another show, another time. I'll tell you one thing that they do in this episode that annoys me before we move on, because they've done it so like several times in this show now, is we really like the stuff where somebody stops the laser blast in their hand. We're
Yeah, a
gonna
lot.
keep doing that.
They're
They've done it in
doing.
like every
Yeah,
episode so far. It's like it was like the coolest thing that Kylo Ren done
yeah.
in the trilogy, and we're just going to keep every time we need a character to do like a cool moment, or where you think somebody died because they got shot and then no they didn't. When I thought that is it the bride or whoever the character that got shot or almost got shot, I was like, oh man, we're really getting dark now. And then no,
No,
no, we're just stopping the blast. And I was just like, come
look,
on, that would have been cool. Just murder
Kylo
someone
Ren's a
already.
Kylo Ren's a trendsetter, dude. He's a
Yeah.
trendsetter. Everybody wants to be him. I thought the lightsaber that the lead girl used was super cool. It was like kind of thin.
Yeah,
And
I like the thinness, but
I liked the
I don't know.
boots.
The we've seen this a couple of times in this series now is female warriors wearing high heels. I believe in the
Heels,
first
yeah,
episode that
yeah.
the
I
woman
think you're
there is
right.
wearing a high, and it's not working. This the high heels. Just stop trying to make it happen. It is so
But
impractical.
these
We're in a
heels are
feminist
cool.
age.
These heels are cool, and they blow you forward at the enemy. Like that's cool.
Yeah, no, the rocket kind of thing is cool. It's like Shadow the Hedgehog. I get it.
And they get
Um,
that kind of anime like slice where you go like you run past them and then they like fall apart behind you. Like it's pretty cool.
and another quick hot take here as well. Yellow isn't the color. It's not the color for a lightsaber,
Not
unless
my
you're gonna
favorite.
unless you're gonna imply certain things with it. Obviously, you've got like blue is the good and green is the good, and then red is the bad, and then yellow is kind of like in between. Unless you're gonna play that angle, which nobody's doing, because we get Ray with the yellow lightsaber in the Rise of
Yeah, but
Skywalker.
not until you're done with her.
Yeah, we're done with Ray. That's fine. Um, not because she's in Mary Sue. I respect Ray. I just don't like the movie that she's in. But if we're gonna have the yellow, let's have it mean something. Let's not just be like, oh, every now and then we're just gonna throw in a yellow one just to make it different, which is what it feels like they're doing. It's just
Yeah.
separating or separatism. Um,
Separatist.
the 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 they're just doing it every now and then just to just like as a seasoning of colors, as it were. And I'm just like, if we're gonna have people out there with yellow lightsabers, let's have that be like in the way that we've got the separatists is like a third thing away from the rebels and the empire. Let's have the yellow lightsaber symbolize something other than just like Jedi and Sith,
Yeah.
because I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. The purple, the green, the blue,
That's oh god.
wonderful,
Oh.
but
Hmm.
let's I don't know, the
Oh
yellow,
boy.
it just looks weak. It's the yellow is weak. It doesn't pop enough visually. It doesn't mean anything
Hmm.
culturally. What we just wanted to add another
But
color.
it's yellow. It's cool.
Exactly.
No, it's not.
It's not.
So I would like to see this story continued. Personally, I want to know more
Yeah.
about her because I think she's very like. I didn't love this episode and like the stuff she was like the scenario going around in this episode, but I think she's very interesting. This where something happened and there was a flash of some sort of Sith. Or some sort of
Yeah.
red lightsaber thing, but we never really got an explanation for that. That seemed very open and very much like a question to be answered at some point.
Coming to a novel in bookstores near you.
I'd be okay with that. All right, let's talk about what is easily the best episode so far in the show.
Yes.
Also, might be one of the best pieces of Star Wars media. Like it might be one
Yes.
of my favorite pieces of Star Wars media I've ever seen. Episode 5, The Ninth Jedi, which
Yeah.
was done by Production IG. No idea who they are, but goddamn. Um, okay, so this was something that I wanted. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about. La Zima. With Law is the let's see which one is Law. Law
I
is
don't
the
think.
sabersmith.
Okay.
So
Cool.
the sabersmith is voiced by Simu Liu.
Yes, I heard he was in this.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Henry Golding's in this as well. I don't know if he's in this episode, but that was another name that I heard that
he's
he's in
later
this.
on,
Okay, cool. But
but
yeah,
that was
we.
the big one for this episode was Simu Liu.
I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, that's
Yeah,
hot. That's a hot thing right now. So let's get
yeah.
him in here, and it should,
Uh,
it makes sense. Of course, we there's to be honest, there's not that many like Asian like protagonists like main like obviously a lot of the background cast is
yeah,
are peppered with it, but we only get like a few in the leads
yeah,
here. You
yeah.
know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's coming up for Scarlett Johansson in the we're gonna take roles from Asians.
They do have a lot. Yeah, they've got a lot in the background roles.
So
But
we're moving in the right direction. It's fine. It's fine. This
um
episode is great,
oh my
so
god,
it's
it's
fine.
so good. It's so like it takes place in this nebulous time where the Sith have pretty much eradicated the Jedi. First of all, love that.
So
You
when
don't
is
need
this?
I don't
Because
fucking care. I
because
don't
we
it
I referenced this in last week when I was like, there's a couple of episodes where it's like it could be anywhere, but they say it's been like a long time. There's been no Jedi, so this could be between like Old Republic and High Republic. Could be between High Republic and the prequels. This could be between, this could be after the Rise of Skywalker. This could be you could
interesting.
pop this in. This could be in the future where, after hundreds of years, Rey with her yellow lightsaber, Rey Skywalker, has started the Jedi up again, and then 100 years later they're wiped out again, and then this takes place. This could be anywhere,
I have
which
your answer.
is great. Go on, ruin
I have
it
your
for
answer
me.
for where it is. You ready? It is after Rise of Skywalker. It's
Fucking do it.
somewhere in the future. It's somewhere in the
Yes,
future.
which
Of
is
far
great.
off in the future, supposedly.
Yeah,
Like
which
real far off.
you would never do that in canon because that just ties you down so much. So I'm glad, like again from last week, I'm glad that this isn't canon because you would never have done this.
But I need a follow up to this. I need more. I don't get books.
Yeah,
This you could have just kicked off an entire era of Star Wars with this episode. I'd read comic books, I'd read manga, I'd read books, I'd watch television show, I'd watch everything set in this time period where this episode takes place, where the Sith are the in charge and the Jedi are like trying to crawl out from the dirt, because that's
but
not
are
something we see a lot.
the Sith in charge because they're like trying to like take advantage of this situation as well. They're still classic Sith making a play for power. So
I don't
I
know if
don't feel
they
like they're in
have.
charge.
They're not in charge yet, but they seem to be winning.
Yes.
And we've got, and that's not an area that we like obviously with the Empire the Sith are secretly in control, right? And there's not really any Jedi rising up to stop them, but this is kind of different where there's like a bunch of Sith acolytes around and they're all trying to like kill all the Jedi. I don't know. I this
Well, they
episode,
have. They like wiped out all
most
the
of them.
Jedi that are supposed to like be coming to
Yeah.
collect these sabers. Um,
Oh,
we get, which is a great moment. We'll get to that in a
yeah.
moment. I just want to pitch this. Okay, so
Okay.
we've got the old Republic, the High Republic, the New Republic. Now, can we call this period? Make this happen. This is the Neo Republic.
Okay.
That's what this needs to be called. I want this, like you say, this era.
Yeah.
Let's make a whole thing out of it. Let's call it the Neo
Yeah.
Republic, where it's set in the future. Because we're getting a lot of like franchises kind of do that thing where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're gonna do like Robin Hood or Batman Beyond, but we're gonna pull it in
Yeah.
the future. This could be that for Star Wars, like which is already obviously a space
Spanning, yeah.
fantasy, so it's already like futuristic in a sense, but we've never done anything like this. Everything's been prequels, and we got sequels, but that's just kind of
Yeah.
following on. So it's not it's in the future, but not really. We're just following on from
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
We've never jumped forwards in
That
that
far.
way, just
No.
ever really.
No.
So
It's
I'm
so
all
cool.
about it. And yeah, the moment where they're all circled round and they all get their
Yeah.
lightsabers for the first time, and they turn them on, and
Oh.
there's like, and you're expecting like red, blues and greens,
Yeah,
whatever, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
just you
yeah,
get fucking 8 red ones, just
yeah.
like what?
Oh no! Like, because the entire episode, I was like, "Oh, the droid is the bad guy," right? I was like, "The droid
Yeah,
is gonna gather them all. The droid's gonna try to kill him." And you're watching this sabersmith who gets taken captive, and his daughter. Like, first of all, God, man, they tell an entire Star Wars movie story in like 22 minutes. Like,
yeah,
with this sabersmith, like the chase sequence where the daughter is
on the bike thing.
on the bike and like she's deflecting also her lightsaber blade is cool as fuck.
It's a, I, yeah, I wasn't sold on it at first because they even say like, because she says like, it'll be more fully formed or it'll take like a clearer color or a clearer shape or whatever.
Yeah, because her
And
connection to the force isn't strong enough.
so maybe that's something that could develop, but also it's just like, no, this is your own personal connection to the force. This is, it's not like a lesser thing. This is just where you're at and this is your
Yeah.
journey and all that kind of stuff. Um, but we talk about that chase sequence. Something that I didn't mention last week, it really bugs me in the first few episodes is some of the 3D shots are just like
Yeah.
so out of place.
Yeah.
And there's a couple previous to these 3 episodes that are just really, they just took me out a little bit. But in this
Mhm.
episode, they nail it. They use it, and maybe it's because we're moving at a speed and it's not
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um just stand out-ish. But yeah, this chase, like we've had speeder bike chases, we've had Jedi's
Yeah. Yeah.
fighting each other. We've never mixed them together
Uh-oh.
in this way. We've never mixed them like this, and the way that she's jumping on the bike, off the bike,
Man,
and
when they
just
get
like,
onto the frozen lake and she jumps off and she slices through him as he drives by. Oh, it's so cool.
yeah, that's
It's
that's what
all
you that's what you want.
It's all so cool. And then she goes up into space. She goes to meet with this, this kid who was like, "Hey, I answered the call to be a Jedi." And there's a bunch of other people here, and they're like, "We also answered the call to be a Jedi." And you know what? I was wondering when he takes it and he turns it on, his lightsaber on. I was like, why is nobody else like, "Hey, I want to turn. I want to turn. We don't have lightsabers. I want to turn." But it makes a lot of sense that they'd be like, "Yeah, don't turn that thing on yourself
Yeah,
because
we,
it
we
will be red. It will be red."
yeah. I mean, I was a little bit bummed in the sense because like because they know it's going to be red, right? Because they know what
Yeah,
they are.
yeah,
But wouldn't it have been cool if they weren't like Sith acolyte people and they just genuinely didn't? They genuinely thought they were setting out to be Jedi, but then when you
yeah.
get your lightsaber and you turn it
Oh my
on,
god, that'd be
and
so
it
fucked.
and it doesn't come on the color that you want it to, and you're like,
That'd be
you
so fucked up.
you know, like a Harry Potter sorting hat situation.
Guess
So
I'm evil.
you've been training your whole life like I'm gonna be a Jedi Knight. I'm gonna save the galaxy. Got my first lightsaber. Pop it on. Oh fuck! Like you say, I guess I'm evil.
Guess
And
I'm evil. Whoosh.
for a second when they all turned on, I thought that's where we were going. Like, oh man, these people because they're searching for something, right?
Yeah,
They're seeking this, not necessarily the glory, but they're seeking a very specific thing. They're like, we want to be Jedi, and desire and
yeah,
infatuation, even if it is infatuation and desire
yeah.
to be a
Leads to the dark
Jedi,
side.
would
Yeah,
still be unhealthy, and that'd be such a cool metaphor for like a lot of the fandom and
yeah.
like how
Ooh, ooh.
we're chasing Star Wars. We want it
Oh,
to be
Dean.
good, but
Oh,
in our desire
oh,
to see Star Wars be good, it has turned us to be not
oh,
great.
oh. Damn.
And I had a lot of this stuff going through my head, and it was just like, no, we're all pieces of
We're
shit.
all.
We killed the Jedi, the ones
Oh
that were
man.
gonna come and get these lightsabers. Now we've got them, and the Sith are kind of running the show a little bit, which is fine. It's because it's like they're in hiding, but in a different way. Because like
Yeah.
when 8 of those fucking red blades pop out, that's not in hiding. But man, these
No.
they went on some intricate, long plan
Yeah.
of deception to get to that point.
God.
To the point where they got the fucking poor guy to make the
And
lightsaber.
then they kidnapped him. They are
Great
true
stuff.
Sith. They are.
Yeah,
They're
we
choosing
got
the
back
dark
to the
side
core.
option at
We
every
got there
turn.
eventually. It
Yeah.
took some turns, but we got to some of the core principles of Star Wars. But it wasn't the ones that I thought they were going to be, which is
Yeah.
perfect for an episode with this many Sith in it.
And it's
So
so fucking. All the lightsabers start turning on, and the dude gets out of the robot, and he takes one of the lightsabers, and it turns green, and we just have such a cool lightsaber fight. With like, this is what people have been asking for a long time. Like, people want it bigger than this, but this is a step towards what people have been asking, which is we want Star Wars media with a bunch of lightsabers all smacking the shit out of each other. Like,
yeah,
that's what people have been asking for with the older public,
yeah.
and that's what this episode gives you.
Yeah, I've had this theory going for a while now that they know what we want. They know we want army of Jedi's, army of Sith, all of this magnificent like war going on in the old Republic era. But the problem is, and might be controversial, as soon as we get that live action in Star Wars is done. Where do you go from
Yeah.
where do you go from there on a visual storytelling standpoint?
Yeah.
Once we've seen the Jedi army, the Sith army, all running into each other like fucking Lord of the Rings in Return of the King. Once once we've like that's the final like ace in
That's the
the
final movie.
that's the ace
That's
in the hole
that's
for
episode
Star Wars,
20.
right? Like once you've done that, you can do every cool bounty hunter prequel, Rogue One type story, and they'll all be great. But you just from a visual action movie, and Star Wars,
Yeah.
it's an action,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fantasy, but it's an action
Yeah.
franchise, right?
Yeah.
for all this, Jedi don't fight and peace and everything.
Yeah.
It's we go to Star Wars because we want fast fights and sword fights,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
once we've seen that in Star Wars, you might as well just kill it and start a new franchise at that point.
Just
But
take it out back and shoot it.
yeah, but I'm glad we're getting
Oh,
they're drip feeding us some of that stuff, and that other thing that I just said about the battles and the end of Star Wars,
yeah.
it'll come, but
Yeah.
we can live a little bit longer without getting there
Yeah.
because of episodes like this, and hopefully we get more.
It's so and
It's pretty
and
good. It's pretty good.
the way it ends, I was like, it ended, and I was like, okay, episode 2, and I was like, wait a second, that's it. This is something I need followed up on badly, very badly.
Yeah.
I really want to see more of where
Well,
this goes
they've
afterwards.
got to. We end this episode with like a little rag team of like
Yeah,
four of them. You've got like your elderly, you know, mentor character. You've got that one dude who just gets wiped out. He's the one dude who pops the blue lightsaber and he gets
yeah,
fucking wiped out straight away. And he's like, "Oh, guess I'm not really a Jedi." And it's like, no, you are. Your intentions were in the right place. You survived to like learn to do better next time. You'll be cool. We've got you. We've got the kid with the green one. We've got you with the blue. We've got the mentor. We've got enough there that could be again its own spin-off.
hmm
Book series, franchise, like we said last week, video game, whatever you
yeah,
want it to be.
yeah. This would be cool
Give
for
me
video
that.
games.
I mean, it'd be a really cool I think that one, an animated series where it's just
Yeah,
four Jedi, four
going
Jedi
around the galaxy trying to do shit.
going
That'd be really
around the
fucking cool.
galaxy doing stuff. We got like one and a half Jedi in Rebels.
Yeah, yeah.
We kind of got one and a half Jedi in Clone Wars. Because Anakin and I'm not fighting that fight, but we even though even though Obi-Wan and Anakin were like the main characters of Clone Wars, we've not really had just an out and out Jedi show.
Yeah, they're
We've
afraid
we've
to do
had,
it.
and again, they don't want to burn it out too early.
Yeah.
They want the right moment, but maybe that's the right moment. Maybe something else is, but it's there, and I'm glad we got it.
Uh, and we also found out, by the way, this is just talking about continuing some of these stories in other formats. The Ronin book, the first
Yes.
2 chapters is the episode, and then
Oh,
after
and
that, it goes on.
all right, but there could be flashbacks. Could
There
be
could be
flashbacks.
flashbacks, yeah. There could be. I don't know. I haven't read it yet, but I think it comes out October 8th or something.
That's
But
good to know, though. It'd be fun to
I
read those episodes or that episode in the form of that and
yeah.
see where because Star Wars has kind of not got the greatest reputation of like the lineup between like
Ooh.
the books and the visual medium, but this isn't canon, so it doesn't have to be beholden to the episode or vice versa. So I'll be interested to see kind of what liberties, if any, they take with
You
that.
know
And
what'll be interesting is the audiobook. Because
ooh,
Star Wars audiobooks use the music and sound effects from the movies. So I wonder what the audiobook for Ronin will sound like.
will they get the voice actors? That
No,
kind
I
of
highly
stuff.
doubt that. I highly doubt that.
I don't
I
know.
think
Is
that'd be
there
a
anyone
lot.
massive in the first episode?
Uh,
I don't think
I
the
guess I
cast.
guess not.
There's
I
no
guess
Joseph
not.
Gordon-Levitt in the first episode. It's not necessarily out of the question, but it'd be cool to see like what they
It would be.
take and what they
Well,
run
Lucy
with. And
Liu's in it. Oh,
oh
but
well,
she
yeah.
plays the person who dies in it. So the evil
I
lady.
don't give a fuck. Lucy Liu ain't doing no audio book,
Yeah,
whether she dies in the first 2 seconds or not.
yeah.
Especially not.
Man, I the Ninth Jedi, fucking loved it. Um, Need more of that. All right, let's.
Here we
Oh man.
go.
All
I
right,
can't wait to talk about this one.
let's talk about episode 6, T0B1 or Toby.
Toby
Uh,
is such a great droid name.
it is
Oh, I'm loving these droids.
done by Science Saru is the name of the animation company that did this one.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those either. But
So to tell, the only kind of big casting I can see in this is Mitaka is voiced by Kyle Chandler.
is that the professor dude?
Uh, yeah, the professor
That
dude is voiced by Kyle Chandler. Yeah,
okay. So as soon as this episode starts and we've got like that view
Astro
up
Boy.
of yeah. But we start off with like the looking up at the like the inventor dude, and straight
Yeah.
away I'm like, this is going to be a Pinocchio episode. This
Yeah.
it like instantly it just I don't know if that's just because like I'm a smart motherfucker who's seen a lot of shit, or if
Uh-huh.
it was just like baked into like the visual, you know,
Yeah.
of this episode. But as second this episode opens, I'm like,
Yeah.
with the title and the opening image of the professor, I'm like, this is Pinocchio. And then as we get into it, I'm like, yeah, it's Astro Boy, which is Pinocchio. I love this episode, man. Uh, I'm in love with Toby. Um, he's a droid. So you say a droid can't be a Jedi, but this this
Or
droid wants to he wants to do the right thing. He wants to bring peace. He wants to explore. He wants to do the right thing. He just everything that a Jedi would want to do. More so, you could argue, than a lot of the Jedi's
yeah.
have wanted to and have done. Like I love this character. I can't just think about this character and not smile.
I really
but
liked him. Uh
but
it just wasn't my thing. I've never been a fan of like the Astro Boy kind of thing. So little robot Jedi boy, while cute, didn't do a whole ton for me.
no, it doesn't have anywhere near the same level as like weight as like 4 and 5 or
Yeah,
episode 1. This is much more
more
e-
lighthearted.
episode 2
Yeah,
um
but
with
man,
the
I
band
loved
and
episode
stuff.
2.
So it doesn't have that like lore, like the weight of
Yeah,
the lore and stuff
yeah,
to it, but it still encapsulates so much of like the spirit of Star Wars. This little fucker, you know, uh, you-
yeah.
thinking about like somebody like this could be just running around the galaxy at any point in time. I'm not sure. Do we know what point this is? Did you manage to figure
I
that
don't
out?
know. I don't.
I think this one's much more vague. This could
This
be
one felt a lot more vague. Yeah.
It could be hundreds of years before. It could be hundreds of years after.
It is supposed to apparently be. Uh, oh, the Empire, the Inquisitors. Those are some of the that's an Inquisitor from the Empire. So it would have to be in between the end of the prequels and the end of the original trilogy, somewhere around there.
See, that's perfect.
Yeah,
We're hunting down the Jedi. They're
yeah.
getting wiped out, and you know one of
Fallen
the
Order 2 featuring Toby.
oh
Cal Kestis is gonna hang
this
out with Toby.
fucking Toby shows up in Fallen Order 2. I swear, I'm just gonna fucking spunk all over my TV. That is it. Oh, I'm just in love with this little fucker, man. Like, what
Uh oh,
else can
you're
I
gonna lose your
say?
camera.
I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
lose my
fall.
camera.
It's gonna fall. There we go. I could see it like going further down and down, and I was like, you're slowly losing it.
That's me
Yeah.
and the droid going down.
Oh,
'Cause
I don't know. I don't
there's
know,
like you
man.
can't put an age on a droid. It's fine.
I can. I think I can. I think. I think the age is very young. um, no, I. This is the one episode where I blasphemy, I guess. Although I just pitched something that I'd love, which is to see Toby in Fallen Order 2. This is the one episode where I'm like, I don't need to see Toby again.
Yeah.
I could if I never saw him again, I'd be okay with it. But if they also were like, hey, we're gonna throw Toby into some other stuff, I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't hate it if I don't see him again. I'd like to, but I get it. I wouldn't be like, oh, you've done such a disservice to the lore of Star Wars, and you've done Toby dirty.
Oh, how
You
could they?
know, like I get it. And the Toby has his own little droid.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a
What's the morality
CO.
there?
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
It's like
Yeah,
Goofy
with
and Pluto.
and Pluto, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, is he like a weird sex slave kind of
Oh
vibe?
no,
Because
no.
they're the same race, but he's also like got like, you know, Pluto's just like Goofy, but with like a humiliation fetish, right?
Oh no.
And
Oh man.
it's the same kind
Dean,
of thing.
bring in Wade and Spirit to the episode tonight. Even though
But
Wade couldn't join us for real.
in all seriousness, I love the
Yeah.
design. There's a couple of droids like they're sprinkled throughout. I can't remember the other ones, but these little like floating yellow
All the
dudes
designs, yeah.
they're not BB-8, they're not R2D2, and they're close enough, but they're pushing the boundary enough. Like I could, yeah, if I have to see another fucking dome-shaped rolling fuck, like I don't need it. You're not going to replace R2, or BB-8, depending on what generation you are, and if that's your guy or
Yeah.
girl, that's fine too. But
The
we can have
the
a floating droid.
creativity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can have a
the cre
floating droid.
we can. As this show demonstrates. The
The
creativity
21st
in this show
century.
is off the charts. And I really hope that this is a wake up call to Star Wars to be like, hey, not everything you need to do needs to be canon. Or everything that you do needs to be canon. Like, it can be not canon, that's fine.
Yes, there is some droids. I think they're in episode 7.
I'm
Um,
excited for episode 7.
have you
Because
watched it or
no, I have not seen
no?
7 through 9. Episode 7 is the other episode that was done by Studio Trigger, who did they did the twins episode.
Ah, well, episode it's very It's not similar,
They're just
really.
they're just supposed to be like a very popular animation studio.
Yeah, but the style is not. It's not as
Yeah.
like slick and kind of you know Yu-Gi-Oh as as
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
episode 3. But there's a couple of droids in that episode that are you're gonna love. You're gonna love those dudes. They're like steampunk stoner droids. It's great. Um, but yeah, I'm really hoping we cherry pick some of these droids and drop them in canon somewhere. They don't have to be in the same kind of like time periods that they're all being put here. But we can get them in there. Hopefully the fans aren't too picky about like, oh well, you said that droid in Visions was thousands of years before, and now it's showing up in, the Rise of Skywalker 2 or whatever. Like you can't do that. I don't because this isn't canon, so it doesn't matter. Just drop these droids or these characters just anywhere. Let's get them in there. Come on, it doesn't have to be exactly the same version, but oh man, Toby,
Toby.
just bring him in. Just bring him in. It's cool. Like he's got the great action. He's got the heart, even though he doesn't
Mm.
have a heart. But then, what's the where does that fit into like the Jedi code of like because every alien race is going to have different like perspective of like right and wrong and some planets, they probably like kill each other and eat each other, and like the humans don't, and like I just think it's just so inclusive. Like anyone could be a Jedi. It doesn't matter, you know.
I love the scene of him talking like with his master, like or with his creator, but like his master, the person who's been training him, and where it's like the stars in the background and like the it looks so good, and then he like turns into like a real boy in like
Yeah, like
in like a uniform. It's pretty cool.
like the projector like
Yeah,
slideshow
yeah,
stuff, and like
yeah,
the animation where it's like drawings on a script, like on a touch screen or
yeah.
something.
It was really
Like,
cool.
yeah, let's get that. Like the technology, you know, it perfect blend of Star Wars. That's Star Wars right there. It's technology and heart, and we
Yeah,
just bring them together. And even though this is like so far removed from like the lore and stuff of Star
yeah.
Wars, it still keeps the the core of it in there,
It's so good.
even though it's so ridiculous. And I thought people were going to be shitting all over this online. I've not seen anything. You
No.
know, I thought, we're gonna hear complaints of Toby's and Mary Sue, or all of that kind of stuff. Like, oh, this is for
Yeah.
kids. A droid can't be a Jedi, and you know, where does he keep the midichlorians? Where, whatever kind of discourse people can
Yeah.
have, I'm surprised that we haven't had it. And
I'm
this
glad.
is this has been very unifying in my limited social media experience
Yeah.
of people talking about this show, much
That's what
like
I've seen as well.
much like the Mandalorian. But then
Yeah.
even the Mandalorian kind of fell prey to that with the Luke stuff. So this kind of just felt like season one Mandalorian, where everyone's
It's
just like, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's got the right intention, it's got
yeah.
the right spirit, and we're not gonna jump on it too
And it doesn't have
much.
to connect to anything. And it's just its own thing, which is very cool. Um, you got any last words about the 3 episodes?
TOB1.
Obi-Wan. Ninth Jedi. Want more? Please give me more. Thank you. Um, I think probably we'll do 7 through 9 next Tuesday because
That's good. Yeah,
I
that
gotta
that.
I gotta go see Venom. Let There Be Carnage on Thursday.
Oh man, I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah,
And I heard all this stuff of Tom Hardy saying, "Please don't spoil it," and I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
why would he say that? This is not the kind of movie. This isn't like
Oh, I
Infinity
know why he
War
said
or
that. I
Endgame.
got it spoiled.
And then another actor came out yesterday and said something. An actor who is not, as far as I'm aware, in the movie. And I'm like, oh great, so that actor may be in this movie, and that'll be the spoiler that Tom Hardy was referencing. I'm hoping not. Um, it might just be a Spider-Man reference in the newspaper or something. But
Well,
yeah.
you'll see.
Anyway, different show, different show.
I am going to be seeing that Thursday. From now, Dean, where can people find you online?
Go and get me on Twitter at Dean Lewis 2099, and just Toby my Twitter feed. Just tweet me Toby gifs. There's got to be some out there, right? There's got to be a whole bunch.
It's got to
This
be.
this little fucker's like he's like legitimately top 10 favorite Star Wars characters all time.
I love it. I love it.
Maybe
Um,
I'll have that list for next week. Or
hit me up on Twitter at Sean_AFK. Everything that I do is in my bio. Catch Dean and I tomorrow on Oh What a Marvel, talking the second to last episode of
what if?
Marvel's What If. With, did you see what we're getting tomorrow, Dean? Did you see the poster?
Well, it's Ultron, right? Just more
It's
Ultron.
Ultron, baby. We were seeing Infinity Ultron.
Yeah,
So,
he's got to be like a great uncle to TOB1 or something.
of course,
It's
bringing it
all
all down.
connected.
This podcast is on the Jcast Network, brought to you by the Jcast Network. They've got a bunch of other great shows there, like From Birth to Schmodown, Go Get That Rose. Uh, Speaking of Schmodown, there's a bunch of great shows. Obviously, the show Star Wars Shit Show. That's at the Jcast Network on Twitter. So, outside of that, I think they got a show tomorrow. I think they're doing Go Get That Rose tomorrow. So check that out. The Bachelor
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Outside
From
of
Birth
that,
till Schmodown, that's shaping up to be a fun show as well.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. So check
get
all of
it
that
all.
stuff out. All right. We'll see you guys next week.